For Viswash Kumar Ramesh, the world was a blur of anticipation as Air India Flight 171 lifted off from Ahmedabad. The hum of conversation, the gentle rattle of luggage, and the distant whir of engines all blended into a single hopeful moment. Passengers settled in, some lost in thought, others gazing out at the receding city lights, unaware of the fate that awaited them. The Dreamliner's engines surged, propelling the aircraft into the night sky. As the plane climbed, the cabin lights flickered, a detail most missed but not Viswash Kumar. To him, that brief stutter of light was unsettling, a tiny warning lost in the routine of air travel. Suddenly, the engines faltered, their steady roar replaced by a chilling silence. In the cockpit, alarms blared and warning lights flashed, signaling a crisis that would unfold in mere seconds. The plane lurched violently, sending drinks and belongings flying. Panic erupted as oxygen masks dropped and passengers clung to their seats. Through the windows, the ground outside rushed closer, a blur of lights and darkness. In seconds, chaos reigned. Metal tore, fire erupted, and then darkness. The world was reduced to the sound of destruction, then silence as the plane broke apart on impact. Viswash Kumar awoke amid devastation, battered and disoriented, the sole survivor of a crash that claimed 260 lives. Around him, the wreckage smoldered, a grim testament to the tragedy. His memory of the flickering lights became a crucial clue for investigators, a thread that would help unravel the mystery behind the disaster. For families, his survival was a bittersweet miracle. His testimony offered a human thread in a sea of tragedy, a voice for those who could no longer speak. The disaster's cause seemed rooted in a subtle electrical anomaly. A ghost in the machine, hidden deep within the aircraft's wiring, waiting for the perfect storm of circumstances to reveal itself. Viswash Kumar's account ensured the story remained more than data and statistics. It was a reminder of the lives behind the headlines, of the families forever changed. The tragedy of Flight 171 was not just mechanical failure, but a chain of events set in motion by a single overlooked sign, a flicker of light that foretold disaster. His survival became the first piece in a haunting puzzle, a story that would echo through the halls of aviation safety for years to come. The human element would never be forgotten, a flicker of hope amid the silence left behind. On June 12, 2025, Air India Flight 171 prepared for a routine journey from Ahmedabad to London. 2 experienced pilots, 239 others on board, clear weather, everything seemed normal. But just 32 seconds after takeoff, disaster struck. Both engines lost power as the plane climbed, turning the Dreamliner into a powerless glider. The pilot's frantic mayday echoed as the aircraft stalled and plummeted into a nearby neighborhood. The impact was catastrophic, claiming lives both in the air and on the ground. Rescue teams found only one survivor, Viswash Kumar Ramesh. The crash left a scar on Ahmedabad and a mystery for the world. How could a modern jet with seasoned pilots fall from the sky so quickly? The search for answers would reveal a story far more complex than a simple accident. Investigators quickly focused on a chilling fact that would become the centerpiece of their inquiry. Both engines, the heart of the aircraft, were inexplicably starved of fuel at a critical moment in flight. The flight data recorder, or black box, revealed a sequence that stunned the team. The fuel control switches had been moved from run to cut off, not simultaneously but one after the other in quick succession. This action, whether intentional or accidental, instantly killed both engines, leaving the aircraft powerless and vulnerable. The cockpit voice recorder captured the chaos that followed. Pilots frantically working through emergency checklists, voices tense and urgent, desperately trying to recover control. One engine showed signs of relighting, the other was just beginning to spool up, but the aircraft was already too low and time was slipping away. These fuel cutoff switches are designed with safety in mind. They're protected against accidental movement, requiring a deliberate, unmistakable action to operate. The central question haunted investigators. Why were these switches moved at all, and in such a critical phase of flight? Was it a tragic case of human error, a momentary lapse in judgment under pressure, or did a hidden system malfunction command the shutdown, beyond the cruise control? The answer to this question would determine whether the world was witnessing a devastating mistake or the exposure of a technical nightmare lurking within the aircraft's systems. In those few seconds, the fate of Flight 171 was sealed, and the lives of everyone on board were changed forever. Now, the investigation shifted from simply understanding what happened to uncovering the deeper reasons why it happened, determined to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again. One prominent theory points directly to the cockpit, suggesting that pilot action, whether intentional or accidental, may have been the root cause of the incident. In the high-stakes environment of commercial aviation, even the smallest human error can have far-reaching consequences. The cockpit voice recorder, a crucial piece of evidence, captured a tense exchange. First Officer Kunder asked, "Why did he cut off?" while Captain Sabarwal firmly denied any such action. This brief but telling conversation has become a focal point for investigators. This exchange suggests a moment of confusion and uncertainty, possibly indicating a mistaken action during a critical phase of flight. In the chaos of an emergency, even experienced pilots can make split-second decisions that are later questioned. The design of the cockpit switches, with their protective guards, makes accidental activation highly unlikely. Yet, the sequence of events still hints at the possibility of human input, raising questions about what really happened in those crucial moments. Investigators found no evidence of malicious intent or sabotage. However, history shows that human error remains one of the leading factors in aviation disasters, often overshadowing mechanical or technical failures. In response, pilot unions and aviation officials pushed back strongly, defending the crew's professionalism and experience. They urged the public and investigators to avoid jumping to conclusions before all facts were known. The pilots' records were impeccable, with years of flawless service and commendations for their performance. For many, the idea that such seasoned professionals could make a catastrophic mistake was difficult to accept. The debate exposed a deep divide within the aviation community. Was this a rare lapse in judgment, or was there something more complex at play? Theories and opinions clashed as the investigation continued. Investigators were forced to weigh ambiguous audio evidence against the sheer improbability of such an error occurring. Every detail was scrutinized, but definitive answers remained elusive. Ultimately, the question of human action, whether a simple mistake or something more, remains unresolved, leaving a lingering sense of uncertainty. The truth may lie within the cockpit, or perhaps it lies somewhere beyond, waiting to be discovered as the investigation continues. The rival theory is more unsettling. A hidden electrical fault triggered the disaster. Evidence of an electrical fire in the tail section, spared from the main blaze, pointed to a deeper problem. Survivor Viswash Kumar's memory of flickering lights and maintenance logs noting a faulty stabilizer sensor supported this view. The theory, a cascade of electrical failures, sent false signals to the engine computers, shutting down both engines without pilot input. The pilot's confusion on the CVR fits this scenario. They were blindsided by a system they trusted. The rear black box was destroyed by fire, possibly erasing vital clues. The ghost in the machine theory suggests the crew were victims, not culprits. The evidence is complex, but the possibility of a systemic flaw haunts investigators. The truth may be buried in the wreckage or in the code. The investigation became a battle of evidence and interpretation. The flight data recorder confirmed the switch's movement, an undeniable fact. The tail section revealed signs of an electrical fire, supporting the malfunction theory. Survivor testimony and maintenance logs added weight to the idea of a pre-existing fault. Yet the cockpit audio remained ambiguous, open to multiple readings. Air India inspected its fleet, finding no systemic issues with the switches. The tragedy appeared unique to this aircraft and this flight. Both theories, human error and electrical failure, remained plausible. The evidence narrowed the field but deepened the mystery. The search for a definitive answer continued. A month after the crash, the preliminary report confirmed the engines lost power due to the switches being moved. But it offered no explanation for why, a crucial gap. Officials urged patience, warning against speculation and premature blame. The investigation remained open, with experts analyzing wreckage, data, and pilot histories. Simulations and deeper analysis aimed to replicate the event, testing both theories. The final report, expected in a year, would seek to resolve the mystery. As of July 26, 2025, the cause remained undetermined. Both pilot action and electrical failure were still on the table. The families and aviation world waited for clarity. The truth was still out of reach. The investigation entered a new phase, deeper, more technical, and more human. Forensic teams probed the tail section, tracing the origins of the electrical fire. Every wire and circuit was scrutinized for the fault that may have doomed the flight. Human factors experts dissected the cockpit audio, building profiles of the pilots and their actions under stress. Boeing and Rolls-Royce ran simulations, testing if a fault could trigger an uncommanded shutdown or confuse a pilot. The goal, a final comprehensive report with clear safety recommendations. The process was slow, methodical, and driven by a duty to the victims. The search for answers was relentless. The story of Flight 171 was far from over. Solving the mystery of Flight 171 is vital for aviation safety. If an unknown electrical flaw caused the crash, identifying it could save countless lives. If human error was to blame, training and cockpit design must evolve. The goal is not blame, but learning, fortifying systems against both mechanical and human failure. For the families, truth brings closure and meaning to their loss. The investigation's legacy will be measured by its thoroughness and transparency. The tragedy is a stark reminder of aviation's complexities. The lessons learned will shape the future of flight. The 260 lives lost must not be in vain. The truth, when found, must take flight, carrying their memory into safer skies.